So guys, welcome back for another video, and today we are doing my my review on a Black Widow movie. Before we get into it, just want to say quick spoiler or warning, because I am going to be telling you about stuff that happened during the movie. So if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it before you see this video. So guys, at the start of the movie, Black Widow and her sister are very young. They're like under 10 years old, and Natasha's just riding around on her bike, and then Natasha and her sister start like playing, and it's such a slow start. Then what happens? We get right into the action, and it's a really fun action scene where their dad, played by David Harbour, which he's a really good actor, he's on the side of an airplane shooting at the police, and it's a really good action scene. So for that scene, for the first bit, I'd probably give it 5 out of 10, just because I don't really like the montage type thing of Black Widow when she's getting trained in Red Room. I just don't really like that montage, so 5 out of 10. And by the way, I'll count up the score at the end of the video of how much I give it out of 10, or no, out of 100. So guys, the next scene, it's 21 years later. She's obviously an adult now. And what happens is she's in a room, and General Ross, that dude from The Incredible Hulk and a bunch of other movies, since she's on a run after Civil War, he's looking for her in a train station, hotel, whatever. And we get a reveal that she's actually on a boat, not there. And yeah, it's smart, but and then I know I just saw it yesterday, but I honestly forgot what happened next after that boat. Actually, I remember. She has her car. She goes in, she's by a shop, and she does random stuff. I don't know. Then she drives off to a caravan she's living in, with a friend. And yeah, for that scene, it's 4 out of 10, because I wouldn't say it's that good. But then she drives off. Then it's the first proper action scene with Taskmaster. But there's a whole gap I missed out on, and that's to do with this scene where Dreykov, one of the bad guys of the movie, makes Taskmaster go after Black Widow, which leads on to the next scene. So guys, the next scene is the first proper action scene, where Black Widow's fighting Taskmaster on a bridge, and she gets this case in the middle of the action scene, falls off the bridge. She opens it. It's a bunch of the red bottles with the stuff inside that makes everyone at the Red Room turn normal again, sort of. And there's a picture of her and her sister when they were younger. She went looking for her sister in Budapest, and she found her. They team up. So that little sequence is about maybe 5 out of 10, because the first... Be quiet, Louis. But seriously, it's about 5 out of 10, because the first couple of bits of the movie aren't the best. Can you stop? I will in a second. But anyway, did miss out a bit before the bridge, where she stop. She's on a mission, because someone sent her on a mission to do with the Red Room and stuff, and it's complicated. But let me just sort out my brother quickly, okay? Let me just sort him out so he doesn't interrupt me during the rest of the video. So guys, the next scene is sort of like Black Widow finds her sister, and then they have like a little scuffle fight, and then what happens, they find out there's like other Red Room people there in Budapest, near in like hotel room, whatever thing where they are. And then what happens, an amazing action sequence, but I'm not going to go into detail on what happened in that action sequence. But after that, they're trying to find the Red Room, and they don't know where it is. And what happens, they get an airplane because they know who to go to try and find it. But then they go to him, and he's in a prison. It's David Harbour's character, Red Guardian. Which, this is now my favourite action sequence in the whole movie. Better than the final act, in my opinion. So, yeah. So, it's the prison escape scene, action sequence, and I love it. And so, after the action sequence, like, they have a discussion. They think they're gonna make it to the next place that they want to go to find somebody, but they don't make it, and they end up crashing down. But luckily nobody gets hurt, and the next scene is pretty epic. It's pretty good. So guys, before we get onto the scene, I just want to say the last scene of the movie was about 10 out of 10. I loved it. But this scene, I'm going to tell you the rating before I tell you what it's about. Probably an 8 out of 10 is pretty good, which puts the movie up in total 32 out of 100. Pretty good. But the person they're going to next is Melina, their mum. And they find her. She's like at a farm. She has a bunch of pigs that she's training. She works for the Red Room, we find out. And then we don't know this until the final act. But Black Widow and her mum start making a plan. But that's after that's after the next scene that I'm going to be talking about. So they're having dinner, discussing what they're doing. And it's really funny, that scene. And then what happens, Yelena gets all sad because personal stuff for them. Like, the family's fake, obviously. And Black Widow's out, and then Black Widow says that wasn't real. And then her sister gets all sad because it was real to her. And then they carry that on through into the rest of the movie. Her dad goes through and tells her a story. Don't know why that's relevant. Then he gets like, and then the Red Room people like infiltrate their mum's house, and we find out that Black Widow's mum is evil, but not really. There's a bit later on that tells us she isn't actually really evil. They're like, it's part of the plan. And then, next scene. So guys, the next scene is the final battle. We're on how are we already on to the final battle? But the final battle is probably a 9 out of 10. It's really good. So that's 41 out of 100. But I'm doing some of the later scenes next. But the final battle, so first of all, what happens is, it's really confusing, but what happens is, like, Black Widow and her dad gets put into cells. Yelena gets put like into this hospital type area where like they're gonna do, I don't know, some tests on her or something. And her mom is in the room with Dreykov, I think that's it. I can't even say it. But really, they just have the disguise thing on that Black Widow's using in the Captain America and the Winter Soldier. And then, really, Black Widow is actually Black Widow's mom in disguise. And Black Widow's mom is actually Black Widow in disguise. and Black Widow starts getting punched and kicked and stuff by... Oh, she tries to beat up Dreykov. Dreykov starts to like punch and kick her and stuff. But when she tries to beat him up, it doesn't work because he has this like protection thing on, and it's really confusing. But her mum and her dad get out of the cell, and then Red Guardian's like, I want to punch something, and then Black Widow's mum is like, there's something you can punch, and it's Taskmaster. So there's the fight where like, I believe it's like Black Panther's claws that Taskmaster is a she, has copied, because copy Taskmaster. Yeah. And then Yelena breaks out of the area that she was strapped, like the bed thing that she was strapped down to. She like a bit late, like maybe after the Taskmaster and Red Guardian fight, what happens is Yelena does the superhero landing pose, and she's like, oh, I hate that. And then what happens is Black Widow like does something, and then what happens, Dreykov is able to get hurt now, and I missed out like half the movie earlier. There's a giant spy like chasing Taskmaster and stuff, and we find out Dreykov's daughter gets blown up. That scene is probably like a 10 out of 10. I loved it. But anyway, back to the final battle. But that's 51 out of 10, bro. No, 51 out of 100. And then what happens in the final battle scene is Black Widow has to fight off all Red Room people, and then then Yelena chucks the red thing down, which makes them all normal people again, and they go off and do their own thing, and then everything starts blowing up and stuff. Yelena like jumps off the side, and then David Harbour's character, Red Guardian, and Melina, which are the mum and dad, are in like an aeroplane thing. They land, and Black Widow goes down with Yelena and puts a parachute on her and pulls it for her. So then she's like floating up in the air. And then we don't see much of her for the rest of the movie from then. And then what happens is Taskmaster v Black Widow, the final battle where they're flying through the air. Then what happens is they land. Oh darn, this is a good scene because this is the second time in the movie we see Taskmaster's real face. It's Dreykov's daughter, which we thought got blown up as a little girl, but nope. And it's really epic. Then what happens? Taskmaster is defeated, but not dead. The Red Room people allow Red Guardian, Melina, Yelena, and Taskmaster onto their ship. They all go do their normal lives. And all of that, about a... Pretty sure I said a 9 out of 10. I'm going to change it to a 10 out of 10. So then that's about 52 out of 100. So yeah, next, and I'm just going to do the rest of the scenes in this clip of the video. So the next scene, I'm going to give it a 3 out, no, a 5 out of 10, just because of the Avengers music that plays. So General Ross and his men go to the battle site after the final battle, and boom, cuts off, goes to the next scene, which is 3 weeks later. Black Widow, white hair, shorter hair, Infinity War Black Widow basically. And then what happens, she walks up to her friend that she was in the caravan with at the start of the movie. And boom, he's like, look, see what I can get you. It's a bit of time and effort and money and stuff. And then the camera changes to see was basically the Quinjet, basically. And then the Avengers music starts playing, which I love. I love hearing the Avengers music because it's just like, especially in cinema, because it makes it 10 times better. But about 5 out of 10, which makes it a 57 out of 100. And then the post-credit scene, no, it's just a post-credit scene, but you know what? The post-credit scene is going to be out of 20. And if the scenes that I gave 10 out of 10 were 20 out of 20, no, if they were out of 20, then I'd do 20 out of 20. But this scene is basically 10 out of 10, but 20 out of 20. So, boom, that is 30 out of 30. So, boom, that is 87 out of 100. Now, there's a couple of things I didn't really like, which, put it down, it's not 100. It's my 4th favourite Marvel movie. Because they done a fantastic job on Black Widow. And I'm excited to see Shang-Chi and the continuation of Marvel series on Disney+. Well done, Marvel. You done a good job on this one.